is watching. The Illuminati are planning to take over the world. The space aliens have arrived. Grab your hats. This is tinfoil hat time.
Greetings and welcome back to Tinfoil Hat Time. The new introduction. Let me know how that was, guys. I could probably make a few little adjustments to it, but it's pretty nice. We're back in the classroom today, mostly because I just didn't have much time to do any other green screen work. This is the more convenient one that I had. So that's kind of what I want to do. But today we want to talk about what they don't want you to know. Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and start in over at the comments. Let's see what you guys are saying. There's a bunch of folks on here. Did I get the April Fool's message on Lineage? Guys, I know how to lock stuff down harder than most people do. I didn't get any April Fool's message on my Lineage phone. So I don't know what y'all are talking about. My phone has not done anything differently for a long time. No real issues, no real problems. So I don't know. I have no idea what you're talking about. So no, I didn't get a message on Lineage OS because yes, even Lineage OS I locked down harder than you imagine. So to fix it, reboot into recovery, open a terminal, type set prop persist lineage, no fool true. You see, this is the thing, is if I have to do all that kind of stuff on a production phone, I'm telling you, that's a huge red flag to me. We got to stop with all this April Fool's foolishness. It's starting to look just like, eating Tide Pods or snorting condoms up our nose. I'm not sure which. But yeah, I have no idea. No idea what this thing is, I didn't get any one such message, but I also know how to lock things down pretty good. So, I don't know. Let's see. You can watch again. Very cool. Yeah, but I don't know. So apparently Lineage OS weird jokes. Yeah, we need to kind of stop. We need to stop with that kind of stuff. But, this phone is production and is now the only smartphone I have. If they screw with it like that, I will ditch Lineage and go with something else. So, all right. And I've never been a practical jokester or any of that kind of stuff. So, Massacre Lord. I guess I can guess the media companies don't want you to know the multitude of channels and stations are owned by very few corporations. That's not exactly what I was going to talk about today, but that is actually true. Back in the 80s, there were like 50 or so different media stations. Now we're down to, I think it's like 6, if I remember correctly. And that's a serious problem. And, and Sinclair is trying to buy up the rest of them right now, and that's kind of creepy. Another thing they don't want you to know is a lot of stations locally owned are dictated by the corporation. Yep. Yeah, actually, if you missed the news yesterday, I talked a little bit about Sinclair. And probably about, a couple months ago, I talked about how Sinclair eventually lobbied to get rid of the rules that allowed them to really take over. I mean, it's going to be really bad in a couple years if that stuff isn't stopped and overturned. But I talked about that a little while back. Libre Secure, greetings. Well, they do something like that to their own system. Stuff like that kind of sounds like be classified malware. Yeah, Mark. I'm guessing I'm gonna have to look into that. And if Lineage OS is gonna do stuff like that, I might have to pull all recommendation and browbeat them pretty bad on the air because, that's not it. Now, again, I lock stuff down, so I don't know what y'all are talking about, and I run Lineage OS, but I don't know. We'll see. Kelmar, how's it going there? KO2610, greetings. Keegan, hello there. Yeah, midnight. Okay, I was up all night. Yeah, I was up all night working on that thing. I couldn't get one part of that video to render right, and so like 6:30 I went to sleep, and then I was up at 10:30 because I had somebody coming over to do the green screen filmography for me. So it was all started yesterday. I started that yesterday after the news. I was up until 6:30, got most of it done, got everything done except the green screening and the audio overlays. Somebody came over early this morning. We did the green screen footage, and then I put those into the video and then put the audio overlays in. And yeah, it's going to be an early night to sleep tonight, that's for sure. Oh, boy. Carbon, how's it going there? Farron, greetings. Did I remove Lineage OS? I didn't even see it. Do I think society is experiencing a moral collapse? Absolutely. Society's been experiencing a moral collapse, but it's so bad right now. The moral collapse is so bad right now. And it's because we cannot even agree on what is the most objective of things. We cannot even agree with that. And once we can't agree on the most objective of things, then there is nothing left for us. If you actually would like to read a very, very weighty book about that in philosophy, look at G.K. Chesterton's book called Orthodoxy. He talks about that. I wish let's see, do I have parts over here? I don't know. If I have that highlighted in the version on my phone, I'll read a part of that kind of talks about that. But let's see if I do. Library by author, Orthodoxy. Let's see. Now, of course, he wrote these over about 100 years ago. I just don't know if I have all these highlighted. If I don't have them highlighted, I'm not going to search for them. That's not one of them. I don't have them highlighted in this particular app. I think I had it on my tablet that has since died, so I'm not going to read any quotes, but there's some fascinating quotes from that book on Orthodoxy. And it's you can download it from Project Gutenberg. It doesn't cost you anything. It's an open source document. So fabulous book on that. But yeah, we are in a major moral collapse. In fact, it's so bad that despite having all this moral collapse and despite all this poor ethics, all the poor college students and graduate students have to go through ethics classes. And as Pastor Chip Ingram says, nobody can agree on whose ethics to use. You know, and this is why, in all of this craziness, why Christianity tends to rise above. It's like it presupposes a moral lawgiver, and that is one of those things you need to keep in mind. So anyway, I don't want to go too much on that. Wait 1 week for the next Lineage update. All right. Greetings, Joe. How's it going there? Wow. Lots of folks jumped on here. Intro's much better now. Thank you very much. So much for notifications. Yeah. Jimmy Dore Show did a fascinating take on the notification debate as well. Eric also loves the intro. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Got all notifications for the stream fine. All right. Very nice. Thank you. Greetings, Scotland. How are you? I heard there are many things that are tolerated now that would be considered immoral in the past. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. April 1st ROM update. Yeah, see, I don't update stuff just because the phone says update. I update stuff after critical analysis, and I usually give them a few days, if not a few weeks, before I push any updates through on anything. There's very few things that are that critical to update right this second in time, particularly if you're behind a very strong firewall. So, depending also on what you're doing. Pesky notification cannot be dismissed. Lost coins, which is, yeah, whatever. Didn't receive any notification. I just checked the channel before. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. I need a tinfoil hat. Yeah, I need to fix mine. Mine's getting them there. Let the people kill themselves. I think the intro needs some music to go along with it. Yeah, I would have liked to put on like something like X-Files music, but I'm pretty sure that would be copyrighted. So I'll see what I can come up with, but I don't know. It might need a little. It might need a little indeed. You let a Lineage OS from 4.1, you got the April Fool joke. Yeah, okay. For me, it talked some pirate language, but for others, it faked. Phone is running counterfeit software notification. Can't lock it down, dude. Need to set up prompt command kill the joke. Yeah. See, my phone's been locked down for a long time. I never got it. Greetings, Sudo Reboot. How's it going there? Daniel, how's it going? How are you? I am doing well. Daniel, your mouse pad should be there on Tuesday, according to the post office. Android is now just crap old Linux without security. Yeah. It's the phone market's getting just as bad as social media market. I wouldn't be surprised if I dump them all together. I've been thinking about just getting a nice tablet, locking that down, and just getting a MiFi card and a crappy regular dumb phone. I think that might just be the better option to go. The user space has less issues from time to time, yeah. But includes Tybalt made me a new Fahrenheit store icon. Cool, very nice. Are there things considered evil that would be considered good in the near future? Yep, I agree. Society's now in a state where we can have no real progress of humanity. In fact, we're going backwards. We're going backwards in humanity, absolutely. Just me or both Democrats and Republicans seem to be crappy parties? Yes. I'm not affiliated with any of them because I think that both parties have serious issues. I actually did a topic on my Christian channel. I think it was last week, 2 weeks ago. On I did that on the how the Republican Party and Christianity got kind of intertwined and how fake and false it was. So if you're interested in that kind of stuff, check out that stream over there I did. No one can agree on even what will the fact, we'll destroy ourselves. Yeah, and what's getting worse, though, Mark, is as I mentioned yesterday with science is now more about politics than it is actually about anything scientific. And so it ends up being the politics that directs things in the name of science that isn't really science. I mean, if you look, for example, at our health stuff, where, this is an area I know a lot about. I spent lots of times in labs doing this kind of stuff. Like everything they teach us right now, like about how to have a healthy diet. The diet they want us to consume literally makes us fat and chronically ill. That's exactly what it does. It's the same diet you feed to livestock to make them fat, so you can plump them up quickly and slaughter them for more weight. Now, of course, we have a different type of digestive tract than livestock, but in studies, the nutrient composition does the same thing. If you want to have a better, healthier thing, you need to have more fats in your diet, a whole lot less carbs in your diet, and your fat should be natural fats you find in nature. None of these vegetable oils, corn oils, those things are like the most toxic stuff. You need those in small doses. You need those about, it's about, I think it's 1 omega-3s to 3 omega-6s. Those oils are omega-6s. We get between 1 in 19 and 1 in 25 ratio, and that's actually what causes frailty in our blood vessels, because the fats in corn oils and vegetable oils don't have the malleability, the flexibility that they need to maintain the blood pressure. And that's what leads to strokes and heart attacks and things like that. It's just crazy. And to look at all of the politics that went into that, it is crazy to see the stuff. But that happens in pretty much every industry. So we cannot even agree on the things that will destroy us in case of nutrition, stuff like that. Master icon making. Very cool. Very good. Okay. How lovely tinfoil hat with its own tracking device. So the Roman Empire? There you go. Reasonable, balanced people that call crazy are the ones holding the country together. I was watching a documentary today about Silicon Valley guys freezing themselves looking for perpetual youth, and of course there's a big trend of them injecting themselves with blood of younger people. It's crazy. You need to be wearing one of these to watch some of that stuff. It's kind of interesting. Humility is one big one I see collapsing. Yep. Tim Allery reminds us it's turning in the 1930s Germany. Yep. Windows will not honor what software I've installed, then I cannot have it. Ooh, that's interesting. Am I a conspiracy theorist or something? I am actually not. I do the tinfoil hat series mostly as a fun poke at that kind of stuff. I think Alex Jones is a Fruit Loop. Fun to watch every now and again, but I think he's a Fruit Loop. And no, I'm not a conspiracy theorist. But there's a lot of things in our world that are really starting to make it look like a lot of your old conspiracy theories we're finding to be very true. And so it's interesting. So sometimes you get close to that line, and that's kind of what tinfoil hat time is where is the truth behind that close line? And that's kind of the direction we want to go. Well, I'm going to go ahead and leave my thing there so we can actually get into it. So we're 15 minutes in, and we have not yet talked about our topic. I want to talk about our topic for probably about 20 minutes or so, and then we're going to hang out on this. And the topic I want to pick was what they don't want us to know. I don't like using the word they. I just didn't have enough room with the way I'm doing the banners now. I didn't have enough room to what I wanted, which was what the media companies don't want you to know. There's a lot they don't want you to know. One of those, of course, is, as somebody had mentioned in the comments earlier, that indeed, they're all owned by, most of them are all owned by like the same company. There's really only 3 or 4 of them out there. I think the number is technically 6, but some like Disney is one of those, and they don't generally do news programs. But you have the Associated Press, you have Sinclair, you have, and all of these feed in. In fact, at the news yesterday, I showed the video where somebody compiled all of these supposedly local newscasts and put them all together where the people were exactly reading the same exact script about not checking facts and reporting things on their own, which was just the peak of absolute irony. And that's a serious problem, and is that when corporate starts running things, and really, I mean, I can't think of an industry that corporate hasn't destroyed. Because what they do is they cut every cost, they lower every salary, they lay off every person they can lay off, and they extract every bit of profit. Even in startups, I mean, I worked for an academic software company startup that wasn't the best. It was better than many of the other options for online homework. I still think all online homework doesn't help you learn as much as sitting down and actually doing the stuff, particularly in the fields that I worked in. And so I sold software, academic software for this company, and they were a startup company. In fact, an audience this big, you guys have probably heard of Sapling Learning. I worked for them when they were a startup. We had like 20 people working at the company. I was on board with the first year or so. I was one of the guys that crisscrossed the country and did phone calls, talked to professors. Of course, we're high school, and we were higher ed. I worked in the higher ed division. And so, I went around the country and talked to professors about the system. And they paid us very well to do that kind of stuff. I mean, it was some of the best trips. I mean, and the owner of the company at that time, he was just an amazing guy. We're all down there in Austin, Texas, where it was founded. And we're all just kind of sitting there, just hanging out late at night. We're ordering a bunch of hors d'oeuvres and appetizers and things, and he sees a whole group of us, all his sales guys that are in town just for this conference. He walks in, pays the bill, and just hangs out with us. That was the type of guy it was. You get this small business, and these guys, they pay their guys well, they got good benefits, they're good people. He was making millions, and he gave it all back to his people. I mean, he was keeping a lot for sure, but he was really paying his things. Well, they were bought up by Macmillan, and Macmillan just kind of what are you doing paying these former professors $35-40 an hour to talk to people? Let's lay these guys off and give them high school flunkies for $15 an hour, because we can, anybody can read a phone script can do this job. And that's what they did, and the product kind of went to hell after that. And, that's the thing, is that small business is the good backbone of our country, but when a big corporate comes in and takes over any industry, it drives down wages, it maximizes their own profits, and it causes this big wage disparity that we have. There was a time when, even the CEO or the president of the company he certainly for sure would and should make more money than the lowest level guys, but it wasn't the matter of the fact, like right now your average Comcast employee barely makes $30,000 a year, Considering the fact there's some guys that make 60, 70, 80, but your average for Comcast right now is about, I think it's like $35,000 to $40,000 a year, which is a barely livable wage in this days. While the CEO any given year makes $15 million. It's the same thing with Amazon. Bezos is the richest man in the world right now. Either one or two. They keep on flip-flopping as stock goes up and down. But he's the number one or number two richest man in the world. He's snarkily going on Twitter going, "Hey guys, what should I do with my billions of dollars? How can I help people?" Meanwhile, hundreds of thousands of his employees, actually he doesn't have that many, I forget exactly how many, but it's 10% or more of his employees have to get food stamps because they don't make a livable wage. That's how bad it gets. That it's just, he's making billions, and his lowest level people have to be on food stamps to eat. That's what happens when a corporate takes control of things. And so the things I want to talk about actually had more to do with the social media type stuff going on down the line. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about today, kind of in two branches. I want to talk about the social media stuff, and I want to talk about the consumable media stuff, and under the topic of what the media companies don't want you to know. Now, first, of course, is we have to understand what is addiction. And I was looking around for some articles, and I remember this one. This is an article about addiction. I'm not sure why that's funny. Oh, that's why. Whoops. I was like, oh, that should be the classroom, not the background there. So this one here is from Net Addiction, and basically they've been tracking what social media addiction looks like, and they've identified some key points here. And so social media addiction, they're talking about people who are just so totally addicted to social media. This, of course, mostly is trending on Facebook because, you think fast food, you think McDonald's, you think social media, you think Facebook. These can have a wider spread beyond those. No, number one, you spend a lot of time thinking about Facebook or planning how to use it. You feel preoccupied, you feel a preoccupation to using Facebook or the immediate need to share. This results in oversharing. In an age of privacy, oversharing stems from saying too much and then regretting what we said. Those who suffer from addiction do not always judge what is appropriate or inappropriate to post due to their preoccupation with checking and responding. So constantly, and I would add to that, like if you're asleep at night and you're having dreams, particularly bad dreams about your social media, that's a red flag. That's a flag to stop and go, okay, I gotta slow down a little bit here, maybe get off the social media. And number two is the urge to use social media. I'll just go ahead and use social media in place of Facebook because it counts for that. The urge to use social media more and more means checking out for updates to your newsfeed or responses to every post that you do. So if you're constantly wanting to check it, there was the where did I see? I forget. Oh, it was on the there's a cool documentary on YouTube, and I believe it's called, if I remember correctly, it's called "Why Am I Not on Facebook?" Really cool guy by a video producer guy, and who's never on Facebook, and he had a son who was 12 and asking about a Facebook account. And so he said, well, he really wanted to get in there and understand why he didn't have a Facebook account. And so what he did is he spent a year doing this movie to finally understand, because there's a point in time that, is he going to restrict his son from a Facebook account or not? And so he goes through the entire thing of the movie, and at the very end is his decision. Is he going to get on Facebook or is he not going to get on Facebook? He starts with this premise. Either something is wrong with Facebook or something is wrong with me. That's what his premise is. And I'm not going to spoil it for you what he finally did. At the end, you'll have to go check out the documentary. But at the end of it, he kind of told his son, you know what? My views on Facebook are my views. I want you to make your own decisions. And he said, if you want a Facebook when you're 13, you can have it when you're 13. But, I'm not going to make you have it. I'm not going to make you not have it. And this is kind of funny because, as you know, I mentor co-host. And co-host has never had a social media account. And, of course, right when he turned 13, I was mentoring him then. And right when he turned 13, everyone's like, oh, get on Facebook, get on Facebook. And, parents and everybody's just pushing him on Facebook. He's like, no. I don't want to get on Facebook. And so he never did. And so that's kind of the direction that he's chosen to take. And so, that's kind of a good thing in that respect. Number 3, you use Facebook or social media in order to forget about your personal problems. One aspect of an addiction is the ability to use the behavior as a psychological escape from problems. A person may have a job or relationship problems, and the addiction becomes a convenient way to temporarily soothe the underlying stress created by that problem. When using social media as an addiction, the user is distracted in whatever it is he or she is doing and finds it hard to fully present at the moment. For addicts, they may take a significantly longer amount of time to complete simple tasks, or maybe some of their friends may complain that they don't pay enough attention to what they say. Anyway, I got off on that whole Facebook thing, Facebook documentary, to tell you a story I completely forgot to tell you. That's that he interviewed this lady who checked Facebook, even during the 1-hour interview, checked Facebook somewhere to the effect of 150 times. They finally took her phone away from her, and she had literal withdrawal symptoms, micro withdrawal symptoms from it. Number 4, you become restless or troubled if you are prohibited from using social media. Restless or troubled, that's the thing. You use social media so much that it has a negative impact on your relationships, breaking down your other relationships. There's, once again, that old Adventures in Odyssey program is just so ahead of its time in many places. There was a case, I think it was one of the micro episodes on either volume 33 or 34, and it was called The Digital Kid, who spent so much time. Now, of course, Facebook wasn't around then, but chat rooms were. This kid did a website, and he was on a chat room and all this kind of stuff, and he became so focused on that it damaged the other relationships in his life. And that's kind of the thing. So those are those things to look at. So how does this happen? Well, is of course Sean Parker and a few of the other people who were early co-founders, early investors, or early people in the scope of Facebook have recently come out saying, yeah, we knew that this was actually causing a lot of problems. And basically, the first aspect is you get everyone addicted to the platform. You get everyone in. You pull everyone in. We all came in for different reasons, friends or family or maybe a job. I was watching the WAN show from Linus Tech Tips, was it yesterday? Or whatever the last WAN show was from Linus Tech Tips. He says, I'm not a social media guy. He says, I have the account because you cannot have a business page without the account, which I think now you can. There was a time that is correct, and that's why Linus has a Facebook page, which he never really uses. But what makes it hard to leave is, as he used the expression in that video, he talked about being a phone book for him. It's a place to gather all your contacts, to keep all those people together, to see who's doing what. Sometimes we get on it for friends or family. Sometimes it's for business. Sometimes it's for whatever reason there happens to be. We have reasons that we get on, but then once we get on there, we get addicted, and then we start being stuck in it. So as I've really wanted to get rid of the Facebook account for a long time, and I finally did last week today. I got rid of the account last week, and I got rid of the account. It's like, why was I holding on to that thing? Well, I was holding on to that thing. Because it's like there were people I wanted to communicate with. So I have people I want to communicate with, and they were on Facebook. Well, that's a pretty junky reason, particularly since they collect all of your data. They have all of this data against you. They have a lot of this kind of stuff. And so basically what happens is they have so much data, and just by us, even if we're not posting on it, they're still collecting tons of data. Because if you have ever logged into Facebook on your computer and you're not clearing your cookies, they know every site you visited. They know every ad you've clicked on, whether it was theirs or not. They buy extra information from data brokers to supplement what you've told them about you. There's a lot of different things that they have done to collect all that data. And by keeping your account there, you are perpetually authorizing them to attach any amount of data they scoop up anywhere on the world and all attach it to your system. And so that's kind of the part in the problem and the challenge of what they are doing in light of that is they keep everyone addicted. They pull you in and then make it hard to leave. And that's why if you look at the thumbnail for this video closely again, you will see it is a bunch of stuff inside of one of those traps. You walk in, you play with the little candy, and you're stuck. And then, of course, if you look in the bushes, there's all the media companies there hiding behind the bush, waiting for you to go into the trap, because that's all they want. They want you to get into the trap so you can create the account and authorize them storing and collecting and supplementing your data so they can build a better profile to sell you to someone else. That's what they're trying to do. That is what they don't want you to know. So that's kind of what I had to say about the social media aspect. Let's jump over to comments for a bit, and then we're going to come back to the next part, which is the consumable media portion. Mark Yates went through hell trying to find a viable solution. Thank God. G2 crowd, you need to read that last one. This is unacceptable and unforgivable. Okay, I'll have to look into what you're looking at. That's fascinating. Windows 10 devices owners are now jumping on Reddit to complain about an advertising show up on the platform's built-in mail app. They're doing it? Shown above, it appears as a banner hovering above the mail, calendar, people buttons on the menu stating Get Office 365. The only way to remove the banner is to close the menu altogether. Yeah. Yep. Get real. They were gone when I logged in. Yeah, I'm curious to know what you're looking at, though. That's interesting. Is it true that a microphone can activate and you would not even notice? Yeah, very possible. Now, this microphone that I'm using, the Meteor mic, actually has a little blue dot I can see when it's on. And if I push the little button up here, it'll mute and it'll give me a different color LED. But, you know, I mean, y'all have cameras, microphones in your phones. You have no idea if those are on. They could be on right now. Listen to me. I don't know. I doubt it because everything I have on there is open source and the thing's pretty locked down. But nevertheless, yeah, very possible. Particularly in Microsoft because they're that. But why are we so concerned about that? We're buying Alexas. We're buying. I don't know, what are the Google ones called? I don't know. We're buying all this crap, these things that intentionally perpetually listen. We need to stop. Like, okay, there's that picture there, Big Brother's watching. Yeah, you know what? Big Brother's watching because we are giving big companies money to let Big Brother in the house. We need to stop. And I don't buy the thing that says, oh, once you're on the internet, you don't have any privacy anymore. I disagree. Because there is a whole lot difference between me getting on the internet here on this computer and me getting on the internet on just any basic Windows 10 computer with no lockdown host file where everybody can track everything I'm doing. This computer is blocking Facebook from seeing where I'm at. This computer is blocking advertisers, network trackers, session replay, Bitcoin miners from being able to access anything I do on this network. They can't. Because I have a router system deployed script that blocks all of it. They can't. Now, if you can't afford your own router system, the pfSense router, you can probably afford a $30, $40 Raspberry Pi, and there are two applications. One's called Pi-hole, and there is another one, and I forget which one that is, but they can do the exact same thing for your any old store-bought router. And I can't remember the name of the other one. Pseudo Reboot, are you still on? You looked at that other one. I remember watching your stream where you looked at that other one. What's the name of that other one? Does anybody know what the name of that one is? Especially Meltdown Spectre now is where they control from the lowest level of the CPU. They put sugar in everything. Yes, going back to the discussions we were having on health. Yes, they do. That is why I make pretty much all of my own food now. It's like I was walking through the grocery store the other day. I'm like, I make that now. I make that now. I make that now. I make that now. I just buy the basics nowadays. I pretty much make everything else. I got some tomatoes right now. I'm either gonna make marinara or I'm gonna make pizza sauce. I don't know. What should I do? Marinara or pizza sauce? You guys let me know. Should I make marinara or pizza sauce? And I'll just, save it for later. Subscribe to Home Cooking Hacks. We'll be sharing it with my family. Very good. Very good. Ketogenic diet really kicks butt. Yep. Ketogenic diet is good. It's one where you eliminate all carbs. Basically, your body functions on ketones. Sugar, salt, metal glue, Going to start eating based on your recommendations. Yeah, I mean, it's amazing. And the funny thing is, I'm one of the only people my age that I personally know who's not constantly tired, constantly ill, constantly taking pain pills for some type of pain. I mean, I'm sure there's others out there, but at the same time, I look at a lot of my own friends my own age, and they're in a lot of constant pain, taking a lot of pills. Like, I know people my age that carry bottles of Advil and Tylenol with them everywhere they go because they know every given day they're going to be taking a lot of pills. Like, that's crazy. Greetings, Mally. How's it going? Tunes in. It's just crazy stuff to see. Okay. Those are all on my point. My dad was an athlete and recommends mostly the same. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, the old athletes back then, they'd be like, hey, no sodas, no breads, no fries. I like Joe Cross's work. He does a documentary. It's a free one. You can watch it online. It's called Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead. It's fascinating, but I hate his favorite expression is I was a cheeseburger away from a heart attack. It's like, dude, the cheeseburger is the healthiest thing in that thing. What kills you at fast food is not the cheeseburger. It's the soda and it's the fries. And maybe the bun on the burger. But it's not the meat, that's for sure. Take Linuspril for my blood pressure. Ooh, I'm sorry. More mundane things in the world are far more hard to believe and understand than any convoluted and made-up conspiracy. Installed Win 7 today and got an interesting .exe program slowing everything down with 50%. That's crazy. NVIDIA or AMD graphics card because the NVIDIA drivers have issues, but apparently AMD open source drivers are good. I'd use AMD, absolutely. NVIDIA did the thing just, I don't know, it was like 6 months ago where I think it was with their NVIDIA GeForce cards where you literally, to unlock the potential of your card, you actually had to sign on and create an online account, and somehow that linked in, and it was crazy. Like, yeah. I agree with I do agree with Linus Torvalds' idea of NVIDIA, what NVIDIA can do. I will not repeat here. Specifically how murky things get through the system without a filter. Yep. Formatted everything on my PC and can't install Linux anymore. Windows is fine. Boo. Why can't you install Linux? Yeah, that's a good question. Switching to a passive position now. This phone makes it hard to text. Rather live in the woods to live in a big city, yeah. Can we inspire a nice little update tomorrow? Hopefully you add those icons. Cool. See you later, Farron. Okay, company that treats their employees like cogs in a wheel and fails to motivate them and pay them well is a company that doesn't deserve to survive, much less exist. Yeah, but they're too big to fail, though. They just won't fail, unfortunately. Or have the ability to resource workers. Let's see. Flightbook. Just lost a lot of online friends to Fedbook a decade ago. Fedbook. It's the new Facebook data collection system owned by the FBI. Create your Fedbook account now! I could really see him doing it, and then us sheeple, man, it's a Facebook account, man, it's awesome, man. Hire Zuckerberg to make that one, right? Live stream, there was an ad for Facebook asking me to create an account. IP tables. Well, I'm using PFSense in my routers. That's not the name of the other one. I forget the name of the other one. Pi-hole. Oh, make that $5. Okay, yeah. You know, I haven't played with Pi Zeros, so yeah, absolutely. Pi-hole is probably a good one, and Pseudo Reboot. If you're on, I watched you do a video on the other one. What was your take on that one? You could do a lot of custom DNS stuff. There's an app claiming it can detect wiretapping on your phone. Yeah, it probably is a spying app. It just won't detect itself. Yeah. Microsoft straight up says its partners will take camera and microphone data. Yeah. Use honey if you can't instead of sugar, and eat eggs. Even tried getting medical records. Yes, they did attempt that. They did theoretically put that on hold, but I don't know. Google does it just as much, if not more. Yes. My joints and nerves are shot. I'm 34 and that's not too old. Yeah. I call my mom and tell no soft drinks. It's at the store. That's killing us. Yes, indeed. Yes, it is. Taubes has done best research. Yes, Gary Taubes. If you are looking at research on ketogenic and other, he's actually not the best on the ketogenic specific stuff. Who's the guy that is? Oh, I can't remember the guy that always does the ketogenic stuff. But yeah, Gary Taubes does have some of the best stuff on the sugar research than the politics and the things that went into all the sugary type stuff. So yeah, read Gary Taubes. I think he has, what's the name of his one book? I forget. He has a few of them. I always get his and Lustig's stuff mixed up. They're both good, though. Recommends installing another wiretapping app. Yeah. All right. Let's jump on over to our second topic of the day. So the second thing I want to talk about is what they don't want us to know about consumable media. Now, consumable media is the movies we watch. It's the books we read. It's the music we listen to. What the media companies don't want us to know is that we're paying them lots of money on a regular basis to not own anything. If we stop them sending them the money, we stop even being able to listen to the things we want without a little bit more help. Now, this is an interesting little debate. I was having a discussion on this with somebody last week who uses Netflix. I think has Netflix and Amazon Prime. Mostly Amazon Prime due to ordering things on Amazon, and Netflix because of that. But he's like, I'm thinking about dumping Netflix and going with Hulu probably because of, having different type of stuff. And the thing is that the one good argument you can make for that is if you are a person, and I'm not one of these people, if you are a person that likes to watch a show once, and maybe, and you're a minimalist like I am, then Netflix is a great deal. You can pay them some money, and in which case you have access to whatever they say you have access to. The downside that happens is that if you happen to have a favorite movie and they no longer are working a deal with that company that produces that movie, that just simply drops out, and then you'll lose the ability to watch it easily. And so this is why I am a bigger advocate of owning your own movies, owning your own music, owning your own books. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to own the physical copies. Music is easy because music, it's fairly small, particularly considering the size of the files they are, and how big our hard drives and things happen to be. A super chat came in from Porter Smith. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, man. So, music's easy, and we happen to know that challenged in copyright law, a disc is not encrypted. It generally is. It's not illegal to be owning a copy of a music, of a song. Now, of course, you need to understand, if you're going onto torrents and just downloading copies illegally, without paying for them or without having anything like that, that's a different thing. But you can get on, and I'm not sure if you still can these days or not, but you used to be able to just get on there and just buy songs. And they were downloaded DRM-free copy songs. I'm not sure if any such services like that exist anymore. I'm pretty much sure they've all gone away. Like, I know with Amazon, right? I've bought one movie from Amazon Videos. This is back before Amazon Prime was a thing, back before any of that kind of stuff was a thing. I bought a movie and they're like, yeah, you can download this. And, and I think they might have put a restriction on it. I forget if they put a restriction on it or whatever else. But Amazon, they moved the things. Now, I bought that movie, I want to say it was like 2009. Because I just wanted to watch the movie. And, I was like, yeah, digital seems fine. And it cost me like $9-10. Well, after they started pushing out their Prime and their videos and things like that, then what ended up happening is that it became the point where you could no longer download a copy of it. You had to always have the Amazon account. That's the direction they're going to. So at that time, when I first bought it, you could buy it, you could download it and have a copy. But now you can't. If you buy a movie directly from Amazon, you don't own that copy. Now with music, I think you do. I know I've bought a couple CDs from Amazon that when you buy the CD, they're like, oh, you can go right here and download all the songs now because you bought the CD. I looked at that, I'm like, well, no, because I'm not creating yet another Amazon account and creating it and all this kind of jazzy stuff. I think I'll just wait for the CD. If I have this burning, itching desire to listen to a song that's on that CD, I'll go find it on YouTube. Honestly. But that's the thing that happened, is that they have made this shift where we no longer own. Now, music is the easy one. Movies, very hard one. Because it's very difficult to have the movie situation. Very difficult to have the movie situation where a person can buy the movie and get a DRM-free download. It exists. Usually independent people. Absolutely. But as far as your mainstream studios, hard to do. That's the one part of the law we need to change, is if I own a physical DVD, and I own a lot of physical DVDs. I got one back here that just picked this guy up at the local thing, A Beautiful Mind with the 2-disc awards edition, I don't know, whatever. So I got the Beautiful Mind here. The technology exists that I can pop this on my computer, and it is illegal for me to make a copy of it. The technology exists to make a copy of this for my own personal use. But because a DVD is a encrypted thing, to make a copy of it digitally violates Section 1204 Part D, I think, of the copyright law. And that's a problem. That's a serious problem. We need to get rid of that, because if I buy a physical copy of the movie, I should be able to have a digital copy that I can do with whatever I want, because the technology gives us the ability to do cool things. Books are the same way. Books are a 50-50 crapshoot. A book, when you get a book, you either get a DRM-free copy or you get a regular DRM copy. I personally, as a book producer and an author, I always offer my books digitally DRM free, because I'm a minimalist. I don't want a lot of extra stuff laying around. And someone that wants to buy my book, I don't care if they're on a Kindle. I don't care if they're on a Nook. I don't care if they want to read it on their computer. If you've bought my book from me, I don't want to restrict the software you're using to read and consume that book. That's my philosophy on it. Now, that's one of the reasons I want to pull my first book out of the original publisher, on top of, as we talked about earlier, big companies screwing over little guys. The music industry with the streaming systems, with your Spotify, Apple Music, and Amazon, are your three biggest ones. And I forget which order's what. I think it's Spotify's number 1, Apple's number 2, and Amazon is allegedly number 3, but they don't really release their numbers. The problem is you don't own any of that music. You're paying subscription fees. You don't own the music. Ebooks are kind of that same way, where you end up with the back and forth, the specific little things. And with the ebooks, I want to do that. And I think oh, that's right. I am so scatterbrained today. I apologize. This is what happens when I don't sleep. I've gotten like 3 hours of sleep. The big companies, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, they are not paying the people who actually produce that music much at all. Very, 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 very little. It's the same situation. I'm going to be doing more workshops for people who want to write books, how to do your own production, how to do your own management of that kind of stuff. Because when I did my first book, and of course, the way you do a book these days is self-publishing is way better. $5 super chat from Mark Yates. Thank you very much. He says, I appreciate the awesome work and dedication to the channel. It's a great resource for everyone, not just Linux users. Yes. I don't care what operating system. Any given day, I actually have a Mac sits here, Linux sits here, Windows sits here. I work on all 3 of them all day long. I prefer Linux when I have the choice. I use the Windows computer just because it's Windows 7, it still works, and that's where everything's all set up. But as soon as that one's dead, it's going to be Linux Mint Cinnamon over there. All right, but anyway, when I did that first book, it cost me $1,400 to do the production, which is not even good production. The print quality of the book is good. The production quality of the book is crap. It's crap. And I paid $1,400 for it. When I sell a book from that, if you go to Amazon and you find my first book, which is called Testing and Temptations, and you buy a copy of that book from Amazon, 6 months later, I'll get a commission for that. And I get $1 if you buy one of those books. If you get my second book, which I produce personally, which is called The Art of Shallow Neighboring, buying it from Amazon, I get paid 60 days later. I get a record of the sale instantly. It's like a 3-month delay for me to have a record of my first book's sale. I don't even have a record of it for 3 months. I get the record of it within 24 to 48 hours, and I get paid the commissions, no matter how small those commissions are, 60 days later. And I get, for the ebooks, I think I make $2 for the ebooks, and I make about $3.50 for the print books if you buy them from Amazon. If you buy them directly from CreateSpace, I make $6 a book. That's the benefit. Versus if you buy it directly from the other publisher, which is Westbow, I think I make $2 maybe, and nobody's ever done that because who shops at Westbow Press? That's the danger of what's happening, is that when all of these big media companies, they're going to pay pennies to the artists, they're going to make all the cash, and then the end consumer doesn't even own the copy of the thing. That's what happens in the book world. That's why I sell my books DRM free. I sell it DRM free. You buy it, you have a DRM free copy. And if you've bought a DRM'd copy of my book from like Amazon, show me proof of purchase. I will email you a non-DRM free copy of that book, because I believe in open source and no DRM. But those are the things, is that we don't own stuff. If they get into a dispute with the original company, we lose the ability to have that. The aliens are coming. Good thing I'm wearing my hat. I'm getting weird noises. Interesting. Of course, looking at the terms and conditions, you don't own anything. You own nothing. That's a serious challenge. That's a serious problem. Again, the only major benefit to the subscription-based models is if you are a minimalist and you don't really care what your options are, you just want something to watch, you don't care what you watch, it's a good option then. Because you're not filling up your house with a bunch of stuff. and you're not doing that. I like to watch the same stuff over and over. That's why I like to buy DVDs, so I can watch the same thing over and over, because I like doing that. I work well to that. When I need to get some work done, I put on some movie I'm highly familiar with. It gives me a perfect amount of background noise, and it synergizes my workflow. Just what happens. So those are some of the things that media doesn't want us to know. I'm going to go back to the comments, and then we have solutions. We're going to talk about some solutions coming down the pipeline. All right, let me figure out where I was. I was over here. Okay, so how much do you think it would cost to build an effective Faraday cage? Ooh, that's a good question. Let me grab something real quick. Small scale, 99 cents for a box of cookies. This guy here, tins like this. Oh, that's cool. Whoa. I did not realize that would green screen, but I'm headless. Tins like this make perfect Faraday cages. So if I wanted to, for example, protect the contents of this USB drive, booyah, in a Faraday cage. Of course, it's a little, 99-cent tin, cookie tin or whatever. So that's kind of the type of stuff you'd want to do. Now, what's a Faraday cage if you're unaware? One of the ways people say that America could be taken out best, and what many people project could possibly be the end of our civilization, is a high atmospheric nuclear explosion would cause an EMP pulse, electromagnetic pulse. An electromagnetic pulse will destroy any type of electronics anywhere around it. And what happens with a Faraday cage is a Faraday cage will actually enable you, basically what happens is the EMP goes around it and it behaves, as long as it's fully sealed, it can just goes right around it and never impacts it. So the way this would work is if I happen to have a cell phone here and I set my cell phone here and I just go ahead and pick up my other phone and I want to make a phone call to my cell phone, right? It will literally block. In fact, if you're looking for a good way, this is why you can get a privacy Faraday cage, will block your cell carrier from seeing your phone. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to dial my phone number. And we'll call my number. And my phone's going to ring. This is not a scammer this time. Okay, so there's my phone ringing. We're going to hang up. Now I'm going to put it in the box, sealed. If I call me again, it should not ring this time. Not ringing. Because it blocks all electromagnetic radiation. So it's going to go straight to voicemail.
Hi, you've reached Tom Moravsky.
That's it. That's how a Faraday cage works. So you can block your cell signals by keeping it inside of a system. Something small scale, aluminum foil does a fine job. There's actually a news article where a guy he used his aluminum wrapped bags from his potato chips to lock down his work phone so they couldn't track that he was on the golf course. So small scale, hard drives, a single backup, just a little tin like this, no problem. You want something a little bit bigger? Full metal garbage can, cheapest option. You want something huge? Depending on the circumstance, it could get costly, it could get cheap. That's how a Faraday cage works, and I'd encourage you to keep stuff like this around. Keep a copy of backups in a Faraday cage. Good thing to do. Okay, is it Dominic Dye? Gusto you're thinking of? I have no idea. Naked browser on Android. And there's Porter Smith. Thank you very much for that, Porter. Out of 250 people, I had my fake book account. If I posted anything related to data collection, etc., I'd say 2 of them would actually be concerned. The rest are beyond help. Don't carry a tracking device. There you go. Use a fake profile and only post fake data. There you go. Can't even get the Blu-ray burner I bought to burn a CD. They're designing most new PC cases with no front bay drive bays. They plan on making it so you can't buy an optical drive. I know. That's one of the major reasons when I just rebuilt my computer, I kept the case. It's like I'm looking at all these cool cases because my board, I said in my build video, my board doesn't have LED lights. It actually does. I didn't know it did. My board and my power supply have cool LED lights. I have a solid black case because it's like, yeah, I could get one of these fancy dancy looking new things. They don't have drive bays. Best option, just get an external drive. That seems to be the better option. I don't know. Google still sells DRM-free music, but not movies. Yes. Yeah, they pretty much had to do away with the DRM stuff because it's music and no one was doing that. Hello, Linux Daily. It's going well. Thank you. Really, what about VHS and cassette for music and videos? Generally, making a copy of those is legal because they're not encrypted. There's Mark Yates again, Super Chat. Appreciate the awesome work and dedication to the channel. It's a great resource for everyone, not just Linux users. Yep. All right, they're remaking Fahrenheit 451 again. Burn it! Burn it! Oh, wait, hold on. We don't want to do that, do we? It's nice they found an audiobook service that sells DRM-free audiobooks. Cool, which one's that? Hello, Steven. Mr. Anderson. All right. Fake one for activist work, but for friends and business work, those people just don't want to hear you. All you get is, I have nothing to hide. I don't have anything to hide. Yeah, you'll realize how much you have to hide later. Paying for convenience. That's another thing I didn't actually bring up here, but yeah, there's actually a movement saying that privacy is a commodity for the rich. For a while, it was I think it was Time Warner. You could pay them more to not sell your data. At some point in time, it's like, I just can't pay for that, but I really can't have my data sold, And that's why the stuff that I teach doesn't cost a lot of money. I mean, some of the things they do would, but some of them don't cost a lot of money, and it's just a matter of doing them. Tell them make a VirtualBox computer with a pre-2012 Windows 10 and then take a screenshot of services it installs, let it run a month, and look what MicroSucks does. It's criminal. Yeah, that's actually why. I'm not even going to say that. Never mind. Hiding in a metal shed will also block it. Yep. Buy cage, get free cookies. Yeah. Also some microwaves. Yeah, microwaves need to work too because it has to prevent anything from getting out there. Sunspot activity. Yeah, sunspot activity can cause micro EMPs. Not usually enough to kill stuff entirely, but it can block stuff for a bit. Aluminum blocks, infrared cameras. Yes. Manjaro is almost #1 on DistroWatch. Oh, boy. Uh-oh. Manjaro and Linux Mint are duking it out now. I'm balancing Monaro and a cold wallet inside a Faraday cage. There you go. Audio books now. I'm going to look into that one. Doing really good on the merch page. Well, thank you, man. Yeah, actually, that was like 20 minutes, I think. But, I know CSS, so I knew what I was looking for. All right, let's go ahead and talk about some solutions. So we're talking about all these types of things. So first, let's go ahead and talk about the solution of people who will sit there and tell you, well, my family's on Facebook. I use Facebook so I can share my pictures of family pictures and things. Okay, I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Open source social network. This is simply a PHP package. You can install it with a one-click install inside of any control panel through Softaculous. I don't know anything about this. Now, like any of these types of things, I could, as a business, and I want to have the latest and greatest social network, I could use this as a core, develop on top of it, and build a social network open to the public. Or I could install this on a server, lock it down to only my personal friends and family members. Everybody can have their own little account, and we can have our own private little Facebook without the craziness, without the advertisers, without anybody else actually looking at what we're doing. Isn't that a fun option if you happen to like that? I mean, look how much it looks like Facebook too. I mean, this would be perfectly comfortable. But here we have news feeds, we have friends, we have photos. All this takes is just a shared hosting platform and install it. Most shared hosting platforms will have some type of installer, be it Softaculous, be it, I forget what the other ones are. I usually turn them off now because I don't generally use them. I just manually install stuff. Now there's of course a premium version, which they've done things. And I've never used this system. I'm just saying this is one of many options out there. There are other options, but this here will allow you to build a private social network just for you and your family, and it's not exactly all that hard to use. Evil Step Twin says PHPBB, that's a forum. So yeah, you could use a forum for that. I think this would probably work better for the people looking for the family solutions, but this would be a great thing. If you have a big close-knit family, and you, like, somebody in that group of close-knit family has enough technical skill to put this up. You can share your photos, you can communicate, you can associate, you can do whatever you need to do, you can arrange your family whatever, and it's private. And there's no company collecting all your data and selling it to a third party. Yeah, this is going to cost you a shared server, which is less than $100 a year, which is probably worth it. There is another option, and that is Nextcloud. Nextcloud is what I use for things. So this will pretty much take place of Dropbox. This will take place of Google Docs. This will take place of a lot of things. You can, of course, buy it. It's pretty expensive to buy it on their end. Or you can just simply install it on, once again, a shared server. Now, to get the Google Docs function where you're typing on Google Docs, you need a separate server for that. That gets more complicated and expensive. That's probably outside the scope of your non-technical guy. But every other feature, uploading photos, sharing your photos, storing your data, storing your contacts, all end-to-end encrypted, no reporting back. You own the server. You own the system. Nextcloud's the way to go. It's a way to do it. I use this, and the other thing that you can actually do on the Nextcloud system is you can stream your music. So if you happen to have a bunch of those songs, that's the wrong button. If you happen to have a bunch of those songs, you can just create a music folder inside of your Nextcloud device, and I can just go right on into my music, and I can have my list of my songs, and there's different things that you can do with it. Playlists. I can just go ahead and do that, and it's going to stream my song now. And that's streaming from my server. So these are options. There are options that you can do that are not overly complicated. Setting up Nextcloud just as this system on a shared server it takes 20 minutes. I have a video about how to build this one. This personal private social network thing, a little different on this one. And I'm not as familiar with this one. I'm just saying this is one of many options that are out there. There are a lot of different options out there to do this, but this is an open source social media platform that you can install on a control panel. You can build it for your family. You guys can all have your own logins. You can share all your baby pictures. You can all communicate. You can all behave just like Facebook. It's just that there's no buddies collecting all your data and none of these types of things. These are things we can do. Yes, they are slightly harder to work with. You do have to manage some updates from time to time. You do have to do that kind of stuff. But is that worth a little bit of privacy, or are you just going to come home and be a couch potato and go, I'm just lazy, I'll just let Facebook do it and click, 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 and let them all have it all and sell me to someone else? Those are those things. So these are some of those things the media companies don't want you to know about, is that there are places where you can store your services. You can put all your music up in your Nextcloud install and stream it to your device, to your computer, to whatever else. That's not the option I generally do. I actually use a open media vault in my system, which allows me to do the same thing, essentially. It's just a little bit different option. But those are some of those things that we can do. There are options out there that don't involve selling our soul to social media. And that's what I encourage you to do. Look into those options. Say, I'm going to create something that protects my privacy and maintains the same ability of communication with my network of friends. What do you guys think? Definitely get a bag at some point for the gym. Yeah. The bags are very nice. Oh, there's actually two types of bags. So there's the shopping bag that I had. That's one I showed, but there's actually also the drawstring bags. You can get those drawstring bags with Switch to Linux on them as well. Those are at shop.switchtolinux.com. Working out with my pastor, and I want to get back to that. There you go. Great person. He's like a second dad to me. Very good, man. Very good. I encourage you, get back into it. Get back into that exercise and take some good vitamins and minerals and things there too. That's another thing you do. I've taken good vitamins and minerals since I was 18. And I think that that's a contributing factor to my health these days, honestly. Actually amazing. Now I want it. The new Facebook. Yeah, it's just open source-socialnetwork.org is this. And like I said, I don't know anything about this one. I know there's a lot of other ones. In fact, I kind of wish I knew about this one because I've been building a social network site for somebody, and this would have been a whole lot better to use than the one we were doing. Facebook was created to rate women. Nextcloud is nice. Run an instance for friends and family. Yep. Social media in PHP. I'm buying a domain now. Yep. Yeah, and actually, I'll throw it out there too. I sell servers. I have a VPS that I sell servers to for my web design clients. If you need server space, I charge. I think my current rate for a single domain server is $85. You have a free SSL through Let's Encrypt. That's all comes in set up with it. And I want to say I put some caps on the sizes and bandwidth restrictions because I'm limited in what I can have. I'm basically a reseller of stuff. So that's something that I do. And I do those for $85. I use them for my small business clients. And the good thing is it's a VPS that I control. I'm the only one on it. So it's only me and my clients on that VPS. And so that's what I use. I use that for my web design business for my clients. Buy and edit your own. Yeah. Host your own. Yep. I hate to tell you, it ain't mint. Uh-oh. Think Manjaro's going to win out, huh? I gotta say, I like Manjaro. I mean, I ran Manjaro for a month, and I love that system. That was a great system. Very much enjoyed it. Nextcloud is a breeze to install. It's available in a snap. Yep. The only thing that's difficult on Nextcloud is if you want the Google Docs or if you want the ability to do the video chatting, because you have to build your own stun turn server. And for the Google Docs replacement type thing, you need to install code, and that will not work on a shared server. So you have to have a separate type of server for that. I want to build a new one. I'm leaning towards AWS. It's down to either DigitalOcean or AWS. I'm not sure which one I want to go with. I'm currently running it on someone else's AWS. And the advantage of AWS is I can actually make an image of what I'm already running over there and port it over to my account. That's kind of the reason I'm leaning towards AWS. But I don't know. What do you think? DigitalOcean? Should I run that? I don't know. Cloud's 5 terabyte drive right here. There you go. You ever do it on Nextcloud? I have 2 videos on Nextcloud. One of them is just how to set it up on a shared server, and I have one that teaches you how to install the MS Core fonts on code. I really need to do another video on how to install code, because that's the thing that's a pain in the petunias. I'll use Nextcloud at home. Yeah, I could actually put Nextcloud on my home server. The reason I'm putting my Nextcloud on a shared server online rather than home is I want to minimize the amount of access the internet has to my home servers. That's the only reason I do it. SHA-1, SHA-2 hash identification numbers assigned to hardware and software created files. The old standard may quit working. So music, games, programs, and hardware may become bricks. Oh boy. Enlightening me on Open Media Vault. Oh, enlighten you on Open Media Vault. Yeah, that's another one. I'll go ahead and pull their website up real quick. I'm guessing that was a question. The reason I'm using Open Media Vault is that it is the only NAS system that I found that was working on Debian. There's FreeNAS, which is based on BSD, but this one is based on Debian. And I have numerous videos on this. The other thing I've added to mine is mine also pushes a book server. So any device that I have, let me just switch screens for a second. Let me just verify I can access it real quick. Make sure there's nothing buggy in the system. Yep, there we are. All right, so what I put on mine as well is on top of building the OMV is I also built a book server on top of it. So any device connected to my network can access it just with my my main URL, and basically this will just show me all of the books that I have in my system. All free, open source. Well, mostly free, open source. I think there's a couple in here that have been purchased. But you can just kind of come over here, click on any book. I can see the data on it. So I can push the get button over here. That's going to download a copy. I think that gets me a permalink to it. I think this is, yep, so there's that. Details. So here's the details of the book. So all this is actually on my media server on my system. Of course, my books, I can actually do a search. So sort by titles, sort by authors. So here's my two books here. So just kind of, grab those in there. And then of course on any given device, if you're on an iPhone or an Android, it'll just open it up in whatever default you have. That'll open whatever version you have, or it will you can save it as PDF on computers, things like that. So I've built the book thing on top. I have a whole video about how to do and manage all that. But Open Media Vault itself, this one here, I just bought an open box micro tower PC, just the little ones. There were ones that had just a CD-ROM and a single hard drive bay. So what I did is I took out the CD-ROM and I put in 2 laptop hard drives. So I have a RAID. I always forget my number. Is it a RAID 0 or a RAID 1? Whichever one duplicates the drives. So I have 2 1 terabyte laptop hard drives in there, and they're a perfect mirror image of each other. And so I put basically you can run this. It runs on Debian, and then you have a very nice control panel where you can set up your users. You can set up your account. So I have one folder on there that I don't have to log in, so that I can just quickly share files back and forth across my network. All of the other files, particularly my backup ones, will have more rigorous passwords and things. But this is an excellent program. I've been running mine for a little over a year now, I think. It's quite an awesome application. Lots of neat plugins and features to it. So definitely check them out. So here's your plugins, services, monitoring stuff, all your logs. You can set it up to email you if there's anything goofy going on, stuff like that. But I don't bother with that. So very cool system. Works like a charm. Love it. Video chat is a plugin. No, for on Nextcloud, no, it's not. It's not that simple, because the problem is it uses a default stun server and it gets too bogged down. And what happens is if you're on the same network, you can use it. But if you're attempting to connect over the internet, the ports will always be blocked out. And so what you have to do is you have to tunnel it through your own stun or turn server to get the video chat working. So you can download the thing and you can use it locally on an internal LAN. But once you're trying to use it between different people going out back and forth, it stops working because you have to set up your own server for it, because their server's just too full. Unless they've changed things. They might have changed things to have more bandwidth on their open key servers. Evil Twin Step says DigitalOcean. Is there a way on Nextcloud to give someone space on your cloud without being able to access their data? Well, they can change their password. So you could always probably reset their password. So if you are a root user, you could always access what's on there. If you are, but as far as giving them a password, a user in Nextcloud can go in and change their own password. But as long as you have a root account, you always have the ability to manage accounts. E.g. through having everything to be encrypted end to end, only decrypted on their client is unique. E.g. What's E.g.? What am I talking about? Not sure. All right. Yes, FreeNAS is an option too. The only reason I didn't go with FreeNAS is it's FreeBSD. But it's also very good. A lot of people use FreeNAS. I just don't know much about it. Doing ebooks, oh yeah, Calibri. In fact, I write my ebooks through Calibri and Sigil. I need to use two different programs because they have strengths and weaknesses. Thinking of the word processor. Oh. Tried FreeNAS. No. Tried FreeNAS. So I want a simple, easy to install, free, and works on anything program. For what? Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked at FreeNAS. Just because if there's something that goes wrong in the back end, I know Debian. I don't know FreeBSD. That's why I went with Open Media Vault. OV looks nice. Toy was going to be FreeNAS. Yeah, I mean, it depends on what you want to work with. They're both very good. They're both very good. And I haven't used FreeNAS. I just know a lot of people use it. It's a very good one. You about ready to have your snacks? Yeah? Oh, scratch yourself first. He's all itching himself. But we're going to bring Kitty back into the classroom. We're going to go ahead and wrap it up. So, e.g. Oh, for example. Okay, have you put the dots there? I would have remembered. Everything encrypted end-to-end, only decrypted on the client. Yes. As far as Nextcloud, yes, everything is encrypted. In fact, what I cannot do is if I were to download a copy of the data, like if I were to download the database and the files out of the, just using a main file, FTP client, I cannot make any heads or tails of the data at all. It's completely encrypted even on my own system. But because I have a root login for the system, then that's the case. Now, what you could do for extra accountability is if you have a 2 or 3 partner team or whatever, you could split a root password between a few different people, and so everyone has to be around in order to access the root account. That's a thing you could do to add extra accountability if it's a concern. But yeah. All right, so we're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're going to do a final call for comments. But in the meantime, we're going to go ahead and do what we should always do on this stream, and that is to end it with a kitty feeding. Right, kitty? You want a kitty feeding? Yeah? You want some kitty treats? Do you? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, let's see if will you stick your paw in there today? Want to get it? Get that out. Get that one. Get your nose in there. Get your paw in there. I don't have anything in my hand. It's all right there. You got to get it. Go get it. Stick your paw in there, man. It's so cute when you stick your paw in there. Oh, he's doing it. He's doing it. Oh, yes. Oh, there you go. And let's do one for this camera right up here. There you go. Yes. Are those good? Are those good? Are they finger licking good? Oh, he's slobbering all over my desk again. He's a slobbery kitty, isn't he? Yeah, you're slobbering all over the desk. I'm going to wipe up the desk with your paw, okay? You. He's a happy cat. Are you a happy cat? Huh? Are you a happy cat? Yes, you are. All right, so any final comments? Well, we're waiting for any final comments to come through. Just a reminder that... if you want to pick up something like a mouse pad, or I have water bottles here as well, travel mugs, coffee cups, things like that, you can check out shop.switchtolinks.com. I do also have those drawstring bags, and I have regular shopping bags over there as well. Just a lot of different things, t-shirts, whatever. You can check out shop.switchtolinks.com. That's going to redirect you to Spreadshirt. is where I'm getting those fulfillments done. So all those are fulfilled through there. You can also check out switchtolinux.com/support for the other ways that you can help support the channel. There's links there to Amazon, PayPal, and also Patreon. So patreon.com/TomM. So thanks for watching, folks. And let's see. I could set up VMs, though. Okay. We really couldn't access their data. Hey, greetings, Red Falcon Run. Did you get that video I sent you? What do you think of that? Okay. FreeOTP versus Google Authenticator. Which one do you recommend? I have no idea. Spoil the kitty. Did not realize autocorrect was on. It sucks. Yes, kitty food. Kitty food. Right, kitty? Right, kitty? In the mood for fake Mexican food, so I'm going to Taco Bell. All right. Do I ship to Europe? Spreadshirt does. I believe Spreadshirt does. So if you go to shop.switchtolinks.com, that's going to redirect you to Spreadshirt, and they should have European fulfillment over there. I'm pretty sure they do. I have a Surface 4, like the form factor, anything out there like that runs Linux. Maybe the Surface 4 might run Linux. I don't know. I don't know for sure. You got something in you, don't you? He's got an itchy ear. He's been itching all day. Yes. Yeah? What do you think? Oh. Yeah? You want to go down and scratch that? All right. Love Tex-Mex. Love Taco Bell. There you go. Still want to see your thoughts on Cerex. Do I have it written down? I don't have it written down. It's not on my write down list. You might have to just keep reminding me, though. I'll have to think about that. All right. Well, Kitty's gone. Let me go back into the classroom. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. It's funny. You have a strange sense of macabre. Yeah, you know. All right, folks. Well, once again, thanks for joining. Thanks for hanging out. I should hopefully, if I don't fall asleep first, then I'll go ahead and put up an outdoor philosophy for tomorrow. And we'll be back on Monday, and I did rebuild new top 10 transitions. So I'll be doing another, or top 5 transitions, rather. I'll be doing another top 5 on Monday. So thanks for hanging out, folks. Enjoy your rest of your weekend, and hope you enjoy switching to Linux. Should we go ahead and end it with the tinfoil hat again? Let's go ahead and do it.
Big Brother is watching. The Illuminati.